Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and today I got a great opportunity to join my sweetie Alicia, Dr. Alicia, who's a relationship therapist, to talk about this new film we just saw on Netflix called Malcolm and Marie. Malcolm and Marie. So, Alicia, how you doing today,
hmm
babe?
I'm doing great. How you doing this morning?
Doing very well, very well. So we both watched Malcolm and Marie, which was it was interesting. It was an interesting film. What'd you think about Malcolm and Marie?
I thought it was very realistic. Very realistic.
Okay.
hmm
Let me ask everybody in the chat, how many of you saw the film Malcolm and Marie? I see you in there, Kelly Lynch. You're the first. So give me a yes or no in the chat. Yes or no. Did you see the new film Malcolm and Marie on Netflix? Let us know if you saw it or not. What's going on, Chris Harris? Chris Harris says B1. That
All
means
right.
black first, you know that.
Yes, I know that already.
Yes, we have to put ourselves first. Okay, so Chris says he didn't see it. Who else saw it? Who else saw it or didn't see it? See, Sherry Spencer says no. Terry Cobb says B1 Atlanta. What's going on, Terry? I see Terry Cobb in here a lot. I love seeing Terry Cobb. My man, my brother. Let's see. Annette Arrington says good morning. Y'all need to answer the question. Come on now. Safiat. Okay, Skylar says yes. Safiat said not seen it yet. Condi says no. Jeanette Heard, B1. Let's see here. Vernon Austin, what's going on? Skylar says yes. I think I said Skylar already. Okay. Oh, I have not seen it. Who said that? E. Williams. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. All right. So Malcolm and Marie. Yeah. All right.
What did
So
you think about it?
what did I think about Malcolm and
Wait,
Marie?
did you watch the ending? Did you watch all of it?
I saw about 75%.
You got to see the whole thing, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I got to
You
finish
had a
watching.
hard time with that film.
I didn't dislike it. It wasn't it did okay. It wasn't bad. You know what it did? You know what probably drives me crazy about movies like that is it's just it's like
Well, wait, some people haven't seen it, so this might be a spoiler.
it's okay.
Should we
Okay.
do a spoiler alert in
Spoiler
case you
alert.
haven't
We're
seen
we're
it?
gonna we're gonna talk about the movie and everything we saw. Just imagine like your craziest relationship ever, your most toxic, back and forth, up and down
See,
relationship. What did you think? Go ahead.
I didn't have that sort of take. But what's amazing about this film was that it was shot completely during the pandemic. It was written, produced, directed, acted. The actors in the film, Zendaya and John David Washington,
Yeah,
Denzel Washington's son.
John David Washington. He's a good actor.
He's an excellent actor. Both of them did a fantastic performance. It was believable.
Yeah, well, they are good actors,
And
and
then they put their money behind the film.
that now, how much of the did they put like they financed the whole thing or?
That's what I can gather. I gathered that it was
Mm,
financed by the actors and
that's
the
good.
director.
That's a good thing. So at least they own
They
it.
invested that in that
So they
movie.
went out and purchased a white guy to write the film.
It didn't really
We're
happen.
now engaged in the act of reverse slavery, which is, I think that's progress. So I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah,
joking.
but you know
Maybe
what?
not.
There was a scene in the movie where it kind of, here's my problem with movies. I don't feel like movies really capture what black people say to each other when white people are not around.
You feel like it did? It captured that?
I felt there was a part in the film, not necessarily, but there was a part in the film where they talked about race because it's a film about a movie director.
Mm.
And they had this interesting dialogue about race. And I was thinking, wow, that is something that black people would say to each other.
I feel like yeah, I could get that,
So
right?
I was surprised. That's why I was like, who wrote this film?
I
Mm-hmm.
got that. I got that. I did get that. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's well, they probably had input, right? They probably were like, maybe they were like, okay, black people wouldn't say that. Black people would say that, right? But I do think at the same time there are conversations that black people have that
Mm-hmm.
reflect the diversity of black people, and then there are conversations that white people have sanctioned black people to have, or the conversations that white people think black people have,
Mm-hmm.
or that they have told us to have, right? Like white people tell black people that you can only have conversations on race when you're talking about like police killings, that or disparities, like I don't know, like either I'm trying to think, like police killings or stop and frisk, or white liberal issues. Whereas, I see a diversity of black conversations that happen that
Mm-hmm.
white people don't necessarily approve of. Like, so for example, talking about all the black kids being killed in Chicago and what's really going on, that's not a racial conversation that white people even understand. Whereas I know
Mm-hmm.
black people who kind of get it.
Well, it doesn't always have to be written up in the film. Like some of the
Hmm.
conversations we have when no one else is around, when white people aren't around, doesn't need to be written. It
Hmm.
doesn't need to be acted out. But I thought their acting was superb. What did you think about the delivery of the performance?
I thought the delivery was excellent, and I mean John David Washington. I loved. I just have so much respect when I see a son that's like a chip off the old block. Like Denzel's such a great actor and such an impressive dude that it's great to see his son really carry on that legacy. Because he could have had a son that was a big pussy. Like just some incompetent, like ridiculous, embarrassing, weak little man. But his son comes off like a guy who's really like, okay, my daddy put in the work to be a great man. I'm gonna be a great
Oh,
man just like my daddy. I love to see that stuff.
well, it's hard to come behind. I mean, Denzel Washington is such a great actor. It's hard to come behind that and live under his shadow. But he held his own, and he's also like a remarkable person. He graduated from, was it Morehouse?
Morehouse, yeah.
Yeah, so that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
sent his
Right.
son to a black school, and then
Well,
he played football.
Morehouse has changed
Oh,
too, though.
stop.
Yeah, yeah. Did y'all see that? Did anybody give me a yes or no if y'all read that article or saw that article years ago called "The Mean Girls of Morehouse"?
Oh,
Morehouse has evolved. Let's just say that they had to pass a rule saying you can't wear high heels to class. I'm like, what's happening in Morehouse? But then Morehouse is in Atlanta, so
um, it's
that's
the
what it is.
HBCU, and he sent his son to an HBCU, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also Denzel's a great actor. The time I became most impressed with Denzel's acting was when I went to see what was it, Fences by August Wilson in
Oh.
on Broadway, and he was and I was in the third row, and it was really like when you watch Denzel from the third row, it's very impactful.
Okay.
It's like you see, even if I didn't know who he was and he wasn't famous, I'd be watching and thinking, okay, this guy's going to be a big shot one day. His talent exceeds everyone else's, and he has some
Wow.
pretty talented actors in there that I recognize. But shoot, that dude blew it away.
Okay, that was his show. He was shining. He shined on that day.
Yeah,
So,
well, Von Shea says that the movie wasted Washington's talent. He says the film didn't flow. Why can't we show true black love? That's a good point. That's a good point. I
yeah.
mean,
Uh
do you think
huh.
that I agree. I kind of feel like it. First of all, I ain't gonna lie. I get a little bit. Okay, let me ask y'all this. Tell me if I'm overreacting. When I saw that a white guy wrote and directed the film, it's not again nothing against him, but I
Mm-hmm.
always wonder. Are there any black people who could have wrote a film like that? Right, which we know that there
Mm-hmm.
are,
Mm-hmm.
and also you don't see this sort of big like wave of black writers saying we want to write films about the Jewish community. We want, like we want to
Yeah.
portray a Jewish relationship on film. And then
Yeah.
having the Jewish community being like, "Oh, that's a film about us."
Yeah.
They literally would be like, "Get the fuck up out of here with that with this. You're not like they don't let us write movies about them, but they'll write movies about us all day and we're supposed to be like, "Oh, that's so good." But it got black people in it, y'all.
Yeah, that kind of hurts. It would have been nice if Zendaya and John David Washington.
Hmm.
There are overwhelmingly number of black writers out there that could have written a film like that with them
Right.
and sold it to Netflix for $30 million.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I'm happy that they made money because
Yeah,
at least they made money, right? I mean, it's good for those two, right? That doesn't mean it's good for the black community,
yeah,
but it's good for those two,
yeah.
right?
Zendaya's career. I mean, she won that Emmy for Euphoria, and like her career's taken off. But she won an Emmy playing. Oh, it just occurred to me.
What
She
occurred to you?
she won an Emmy playing a 17-year-old teenager who was addicted to drugs.
Mm.
And this film, she has a history of being addicted to drugs.
What's up with her constantly playing the drug addict?
Yeah, what and you know what it does? It puts me in the mind. I think she's following the career of like Halle Berry.
You think so?
Because didn't Halle Berry she was in a movie where she played a drug addict.
Well, see, I imagine it's
There's
easy.
that
I imagine
stereotype.
it's easy for black women to get jobs as crackheads in Hollywood.
You know that's interesting.
Yeah, and I don't really know. I'm not gonna say that drugs don't happen in our community. I mean, Lord knows. I mean, we lived through the crack epidemic and everything else, and I think that story should be told at some point. But I kind of think I don't really know how typical that is. Like when I think about a typical black woman in America,
Wow.
the black woman that I knew,
Uh-huh.
I think about like women like yourself.
Uh-huh.
you know
Uh-huh.
like I was raised by my mother and my father, and they taught me to like I don't know, like I got some hips on my body, and I got a good education, and I know how to throw down in the kitchen, and I think black men are great, and I will, I don't know, get together with my girlfriends and talk shit, and I don't know, I kind of think, or not go to church maybe. So a lot of black women might be religious, some are not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but black women are actually the most religious group of people. Black women are the most educated group of people in America and the most religious group of people in America.
And the most loyal group, I think.
Well, I'm gonna give y'all that. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't
Come
know this. I've
on.
never dated a white woman, so I don't know. I can't compare.
I think as a group we're loyal.
I think black women are great. I mean, I think it's but either way though, I kind of
Mhm.
didn't feel like when I saw Zendaya, I saw a Hollywood
Yeah.
version of a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a Hollywood black woman is not the same as a regular black woman in my view.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
the fact that she was crackhead skinny, that right
She's
there
super. I was like, the
is
whole entire film,
different.
I was like, she needs a cheeseburger. She did not eat.
Yeah,
What
that poor girl.
she made him a meal. She made him mac and cheese.
Yeah, she did, and she didn't eat none of it.
She ate, she
She
needed to eat some of
she
it.
should have ate first.
She was like, I don't even think she's 100 pounds.
Yeah, she was way too
She's,
skinny.
yeah.
Yeah, and they and,
Hmm.
and I think, and so I kind of, I guess when I think about Hollywood, I think of kind of a
Yeah.
place that has a different culture from us. There's a lot of drugs,
Hmm.
a lot of
Hmm.
gayness going on. Um, it's kind of run by the Jewish community for the most part. It's just what it is. It's a fact.
Hmm.
So that's why, for example, Tiffany Haddish does well. Tiffany Haddish and Lee Daniels have really acclimated themselves to that particular community. And that's part of the reason why I think they get a lot of opportunities. So anything that comes out of Hollywood, I don't think
Hmm.
Hollywood should have the right. I don't think any black project that's not written by black, even if it's written by black people, I almost think that I put it this way, I'm very skeptical of almost any black project that comes out of Hollywood, because I almost feel like I'm at a point where I'm like, y'all need to stop writing our stories.
Was
How
their
about we
production?
write your stories?
Yeah, I mean, we can write our and we do write our own stories and produce and direct them, but they just don't get on Netflix for $30 million because that's their unit. That's their
Mm.
base. They
Wait,
own
what's
that. They own Netflix.
oh who does?
Netflix, the executives at Netflix get to decide what films they're going to purchase and what films they're not going to purchase. So it's just like it's a conundrum for black actors. I don't know what they're going to do. You want to be out there, you want to show your talent, you want people to see it, and who's going to get it produced and out there so people
Well,
can
you know what it
see?
is. What
Hmm.
it is, white people have a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
And
the
they
resources.
can offer you something that makes you think you're successful, even if you're not. So, like Lee Daniels is a degenerate, ridiculous person. I'm not sorry. He's a sick, very sick man.
Uh huh.
And I
Uh
because I
huh.
read his bio and just
Mhm.
listened to him and all that. But they'll prop up a person like that.
Mhm.
Like they'll
Mhm.
they'll be like, this is your black leader, y'all. This is your, like this is one of the most important people in your community. And he's not. He's a fucked up human being.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yet we don't understand that because he's got money in his pocket. We're like, oh, he's got money, and
We're gonna look up to him.
white people are giving
Mhm.
him money, so he must be great. No, that's why your whole community is going backwards, because a lot of your most prominent black people are your most degenerate. They just put money in their pocket and spruce them up, and you think that they're successful. They're
Yeah,
not successful black people.
and they do films like The Butler with
Yep,
Oprah Winfrey,
yep.
the other sanctioned black person. So Oprah Winfrey is the mammy stereotype, but Zendaya, she's gonna be the crack whore stereotype.
The crack horse.
Because black women in media, they have to go through these stereotypes.
mm. Yeah, so you think,
Hmm.
are we being fair by reducing that film just to stereotypes? Like,
Well, it's part the whole. Okay, so the John David Washington's character Malcolm, he wins an award or he has a premiere.
He was a
He was
filmmaker.
a filmmaker. He made a film about a woman who was on drugs,
Boom. Drugs.
inspired by
Yep.
Marie.
Drugs, drugs,
Drugs,
drugs.
drugs, drugs.
Yep.
He's capitalized. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
also, you know that because he was a writer or he was a director in Hollywood. He was playing a director in Hollywood, right?
yeah.
That's kind of like when Tupac played a thug in Juice, and they were like
He was just being,
right. Your performance was amazing because you were playing yourself.
yeah.
Right, you know, like it's like it's easy for me to be Boyce Watkins. Right, that'll be my first movie. So I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna call
Just
it
play yourself.
Being Boyce Watkins, and I'm a star at that shit.
Oh God! But the thing the realness of it was that he gave his big speech and he forgot to thank her.
Yeah, okay, I can get that.
Like,
Yeah, that was
you know
messed
how
up.
you go out in public and you go to a function or whatever, and then your
Hmm.
spouse kind of like pisses you off, and then you have to walk around the rest of the night like it doesn't bother you, and then you wait till you get home and then you're just like steaming mad. So that's the part that I was like, they captured that because that's
Yeah,
real.
that was real. And again, I thought the acting was really good,
Yeah.
and it was interesting to watch for the same reason that we all enjoy watching train wreck relationships and craziness and chaos, and you know. So yeah, so they come home. She's pissed. He's happy because he's like, I won my award. Blah blah blah. And I another thing I could relate to is the idea of I think a lot of people have gone through this, and I don't know if it's more men or women that have gone through this, but I remember being in a relationship where I had just accomplished something amazing. I was super excited,
Uh-huh.
and I felt like it was a win for us as a couple, not me and you, but like
Right. Hmm.
the that crazy ex who shall always remain nameless. And I remember she was pissed off about some shit that I thought was petty, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Are you kidding me? Like, are you really ruining one of the greatest moments of my life with your little petty emotion right now?"
Yeah, but her feelings matter in the relationship.
Hmm. They matter, but they
They
don't matter.
matter.
They don't matter. But why should her feelings matter more than mine?
Well, no one feeling matters more than another. They
Right.
both matter equally in a relationship. So your feelings mattered too. But at the same time, what did you do? You probably did something insensitive, boys.
Well, you know what I
It
did.
just made her mad.
I think I did what a lot of guys do, and I was like, why are you so mad?
But
What?
don't minimize her
No, I
pain.
didn't minimize it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for whatever I did, but it's kind of, I honestly think it's a little bit shitty and emotionally selfish for you to allow whatever you're pissed off about to ruin one of the greatest moments of somebody's life. I
Well,
really
that's the dysfunctional
if
part.
you no if you won some amazing prize, some amazing award, and the whole world was honoring you, and I'm just pissy because because you burnt the chicken that morning or whatever, or you said something flippant to me that made me mad. Like I don't know. I feel like if I love you, I'm gonna try to put some of that to the side and realize this ain't about you. Sorry, right now
Yeah,
this is
but
not about you.
but actually it was about her because he wrote the film based on her story and got up there and did not thank her.
Okay, I can see that.
He
I
didn't
get
thank
that.
her.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think what was interesting was
mm.
when he was trying to figure out what was wrong with her. He said, I know you. There's something wrong with you. Tell me what's going on. And she was just like storming around the house, throwing shoes and stuff. And
Well,
she wouldn't tell
Amanda.
him at first. I
Well,
thought that was really funny.
I think a man's in tune with a woman. He can tell
Yeah.
just by how I can tell when you're mad at me just by how you hug me.
Yeah.
You hug me, you give me that little ice hug,
I do.
or or just how how somebody says good morning. Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Yep.
Like very subtle.
And what's funny is that like I want you to ask me what's wrong, but I'm going to tell you nothing's wrong.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, so that part was so realistic.
yeah,
Like, you're just mad. And then they're like, what's wrong? It's this cat and mouse chase that happens in relationships. I think that part I thought was like fascinating
yeah. I enjoyed that.
and how it rolled out. And he was like, what are you talking about? I didn't thank you in my speech, but you told me it was okay. You told me it was fine. No, not a big deal at the time. And she's just like, well, you know what, Malcolm? I changed my mind. You know what I mean? So that part was funny. I love that.
Now, M. Stewart says, but he tried to rationalize the story was about all the women he had known. I didn't finish this movie. I didn't finish it either.
Yeah, boys
But
couldn't get through the whole film.
no, well, you know what? I did fall asleep, but it wasn't because I thought the movie was terrible.
Uh-huh.
I thought, you know what it kind of was? It was kind of like I felt like I knew where it was going. I was intrigued by the cinematography, the black and white, you know, everybody likes to watch a train wreck of a relationship. It's just interesting. Like, that's
Yeah.
why we watch Maury Povich and Jerry Springer and all these other dysfunctional reality TV. But I felt like it was like, okay, I know where this is going. They're just
Okay.
gonna go back and forth, and that's what it is. That's what a lot of chaotic relationships are about. It's either you're fighting or you're fucking.
Well, they had a lot of passion between each other. Like,
Right.
yeah, but it was a lot of, but you know what? Like, that's how it is though in
That's
relationships.
how it is when you're like 26.
Yeah, yeah. We're older. We don't participate in that kind of stuff anymore. But it just reminded me of those types of relationships that both of us have been in. You know, where you have that back and forth, you yelling at each other, and then the other person, you shut down completely, and you're just staring at the wall, and then the other person's talking at you, and but there were moments in there where he was just like, "And I love you." You know what I mean? There were nice moments in there. You know,
Yeah,
where he softened a
I
little bit.
mean, they definitely portrayed like a connection between the two, which you can appreciate. And I personally think if I could go back in time to my relationships in my 20s, I
Hmm.
wish I just had like a mentor or a coach or counselor to guide us. Because
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think that having the passion of youth, and trying to form something like a relationship that requires a degree of stability,
Hmm.
um, is almost like driving a really fast sports car and you just got your license.
Yeah, you're a
You're gonna
novice
crash into
at
the
it.
wall.
You're
Yeah.
not. You're too new at it, and you got all these feelings, and you don't even know what to make of it, and how to express it, and what the other
Hmm.
person's how the other person's going to receive it, and yeah, it's just the crazy 20s.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
the perspective necessary to even know how to respond to what you see and what happens, and I think that's the part that I kind of which because remember a lot of people in their 20s they got kids and shit, and your kids need a
Oh,
household
yeah.
that is stable. They need the parents to find a way to work it out so that I can
Hmm.
come home from school and eat my mac and cheese and know that I'm not gonna come home to a broken household.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
really relieved because I didn't. You couldn't tell if they were married or not, but I was really relieved that there were no children there.
yeah,
I
like
was like, are there
kids don't
kids in
want to
the
see all
house?
that.
Yeah, they don't want to look at that.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess overall, I thought the film was worth watching. You're the one who likes to watch the love stories a little bit more than me.
Yeah.
I like to watch things blow up and people get shot. And
Well, she wanted to feel special. She felt like she had worked with him, from what I can gather. She helped him through this entire film. She was an intricate part of that. And it seemed like he kind of didn't appreciate her fully. And that's what
mm.
happens. You're gonna have a you don't appreciate your partner, you're gonna have a long sleepless night. Just a special just a quick little thank you to her would have like there never would have been a movie. You know what I mean?
Mm. Well, it's interesting. Tolu says y'all like crazy women and messed up relationships. What's the purpose? I do think that Tolu's on to something. That
Uh-oh.
sometimes there are people that like the drama. I've seen women who like drama who feel like if there's no drama, if it's not crazy, then it's not real. It's
Uh-huh.
not the relationship's not alive. But then you have men that either they bring the drama or they
Mhm.
search for women who bring the drama.
Yeah, and if they don't see that drama, the the biggest thing they say is that he's boring. This relationship is boring. I got to get out of it. They don't even want a boring. They don't even want a healthy relationship. They want an exciting one. And if it's not that excitement, then it's boring. I don't like him cuz he's dull.
Well, you can get
He's too nice.
yeah, well, let's see, Sabeku says she cheated on him, he took her to rehab.
Oh yeah. Oh, you had a hard time with that, didn't you?
What, that she cheated on him?
No, you had a hard time that Why would he be dating a woman who was in rehab?
Um, I wasn't sure. I was trying to. I was
I,
honestly like
mhm,
kind of because when he described his pattern of really, one thing that they did capture accurately in my view is you can tell how a person's brain operates by their pattern.
mhm.
Like, tell me about your last, 3 or 4, situations, relationships, or situationships, and tell me about those people. And if you go through that process with a person, I think you can learn a lot about who they are and why they're with you, why they picked you,
Mhm.
and who they're gonna pick after you if there's an after you, you know. And I think that the fact that he dated a lot of drug addicts,
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
not a typical. I don't know a lot of brothers who are like, oh yeah, the last 3 drug addicts I dated, like that's like either a dope dealer or a pimp,
Yeah,
you
well, a
know.
lot of men want to be in that savior mode. They want to save someone.
Captain Savaho.
I don't want to say that because that's not nice to say. But they do. You know what it is? When you have your own issues that you need to deal with, a good way of not dealing with them is to find somebody worse off than you to save, because
Mm.
the spotlight is off of your issues, is onto that other person. So you don't even have to deal with your own stuff. You're dealing with this sick person that you're with.
Well, maybe his mother dealt with an issue like that, or his older sister, or something like
Yeah,
that.
it makes you wonder about, okay, maybe they should do a Malcolm and Marie too when there's no pandemic so we can get into their lives a little more.
That would be good. Yeah, yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
I'm happy that they, made some money from the movie. I'm glad that they invested their own money,
Yeah,
and
it's a
you
COVID
know,
film. So I thought it was interesting that they did their own hair and makeup and stuff like that. They didn't even bring in makeup artist or stylist or anything in the film. They just did it on their own.
hmm,
So they had a real small crew. They all quarantined the entire time that they were filming. So that might be the protocol for filmmaking here on out.
I guess so. Well, Corey Joseph, she's been married 2 years, together for 3 years, got sober, and fixed our credit together. Good for
Yeah.
you.
See, I love that. I love
I like
stories
that
like
too.
that.
Yeah.
That's inspiring. It's not over for you just because you have a past where you've done things that may have been less than ideal. You can still recover and come back and be strong. And guess what? You'll be interesting at cocktail parties. You have a substance and character. That's what I think.
Well,
Yeah.
what I will say is that I think that every relationship we have, or most of them, should make us better in some way.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you should think about relationships in a selfish way, but I would I think that that to me, when I look back, I think that's a criteria, right? Does it make your life better or worse? Or
Mm.
and you measure quality of life by health, wealth, and relationships. So to me, if are you healthier mentally and physically because of the relationship? Are you doing better economically, meaning more financial security or more income, one of the other,
Mm-hmm.
or ownership, or more, just more wealth in general. And then relationships, like does this relationship that you're in help your other relationships? Like, it's just like investing. Actually, the way you define whether or not you should invest in a certain stock is, how does this stock blend with your other stocks? Because
Oh,
some stocks are toxic, or shall we say stoxic.
toxic. Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you add a toxic asset to your portfolio, it might
Oh,
disrupt everything else, right? It might bring some volatility that you don't that's going to disrupt your whole economic plan. So I think that that's the way it is with relationships. You can bring people in your life who are just straight toxic, volatile assholes. Volatile asshole who's toxic, a VAT, right? I like acronyms.
yeah. Well, I thought that she was good for him because she kept him grounded. Like,
In what way? What do you mean?
well, it's like, okay, so here you come off this high. So it's like, okay, so boys, you go on, you travel, and you're like doing a speech in front of 1,000 people or hundreds of people, and you come home, and I look at you and I go, today's garbage day, take the trash out. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's like, or like the kids are just like, I want chicken wings for dinner. Can we have chicken wings? Like it brings you down off of the high and it reminds you of who you are.
Mm.
So I think that's the beauty of those type of relationships, because he's a big time. director, it sounded like she was an actress or something in her past. But like, after it's all over with, you're on this high, you come home, and then the person can center you and ground you,
I
remind
could,
you who you are.
I could see that.
Hmm.
Yeah, like, or maybe, you're loved by millions of people, but
Yeah.
then your child is like, I'm mad at you because you didn't,
You
spend
forgot
time.
to get,
You didn't
yeah,
come, or you didn't come to my recital, or you didn't get,
yeah.
you forgot to take me to the amusement park. And but you're like, but I made $10 million,
Well, no,
and
or it
the
could
the baby
be,
doesn't care about $10 million. The baby only cares that you watched Disney with her.
yeah. And the fact that you watch Disney with her, you're the best person in the world to her. But you have all of these people who don't really know you.
Mm.
Who'll say, "Oh, you're so wonderful, Dr. Watkins," but to me, you're Boyce.
Yeah,
You're Coco to me,
and I like that. I definitely agree with that. That's beneficial. I think what I don't like though
Yeah.
is when, and I think almost this is a type of abuse that isn't discussed very much.
Mm-hmm.
When it does happen is when someone deliberately, when they because they want to go out of their way to bring you down to earth, they
Oh,
will deliberately minimize your
oh, well,
achievements, or
that's not good.
they'll be like, "Oh, you ain't nothing," or you just, or you
Oh,
just, or you just special. Because I've had people say things. I remember someone saying that to me where they were like, "Yeah, everybody thinks that you're great at this and this and this," but I said to myself, "He ain't nothing. He's just, he's just a regular guy. He ain't." I'm like, no, I didn't work
oh my
hard my whole life
goodness.
just to be a regular guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't, I don't get me wrong. I don't need to be put on a pedestal,
Right.
but I don't have a regular work ethic. I didn't have a regular commitment to what I'm doing. So I would like for you to at least acknowledge what I do
Yeah.
without feeling like you have to go out of your way to bash and undermine or
Oh
to talk about it
goodness.
like it ain't nothing.
Yeah, I think like disrespecting anybody on any level, no matter what they do, is just like awful. You give lots of respect to your partner and the hard work they do, to make life better for you. I mean, we try to make life better for each other, and we respect each other for that. I mean, that's so important.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree. Well, Benny was asking what software platform do I use to produce these audio visual videos. It's called StreamYard. StreamYard is pretty good. I like it better than Zoom actually. Let me see. LaQuincy. So Lene Marie says I recently did an episode of my podcast, Authentically Us, called Martin and Malcolm. It's
Ah,
available on all major streaming platforms. Please support Black media. Well, there you go. We supported it.
that's
I mentioned it. Let's see. LaQuincy says the writer of the show Euphoria, which is Zendaya stars and wrote and directed the film.
yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
Sam Levinson.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure he's a cool white guy.
He seemed like I saw an interview with him. He seemed like a pretty cool white
He
guy.
might be cool, but that doesn't, but still, I'm not going to say that I'm not saying we should exclude everybody who's not
Mm-hmm.
black from anything that we do. I just, again, I always flip things to see if there's a double standard. And I say, they're always writing and financing these projects where they claim to be depicting black life.
Mm-hmm.
What if we did that with them? You know, like we literally just was like, we're gonna just write a lot of Jewish stories. We're just intrigued by writing Jewish. Like that would just be. I think they'd be really offended by
Oh,
that.
we would be on the anti-Semitic. Um,
Oh yeah,
we'd be
absolutely.
targeted by, what is it? I don't know the name of
Oh,
their
the
organization.
Anti-Defamation League.
Anti-defamation. Yes, thank you, boys. We'll be on that list.
That is so true. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how dare we do that?
Right, right. So I think we should need to put them on the anti-black people league or pull up the
Do we
anti-black.
have anything like that? We don't even have anything
Well,
equal to that.
we just started it just now. How about
Okay,
that?
the anti what?
Wait, no, wait. They're the Anti-Defamation League, so we got an Anti-Racism League, ARL.
Racism.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like anti-defamation means we're not gonna allow you to defame us. Anti-racism means we're not gonna allow you to be racist. Or maybe we should just call ourselves the Black Anti-Defamation League.
I like that.
The battle.
No, because now we're just taking what they do and then we're
No,
just
but
doing
I
it.
like that though because you think about it. Defamation is a different term from racist, right?
Yeah, that's
So
right.
defame, and that's the thing. They
Oh,
use
every time you show a black woman on crack on TV, we putting you on that list.
right.
Every time you show an ancient mama, anything connected directly with slavery,
Mm. We
we're
got
gonna put them on that
we
list.
got a whole lot of people to put on the list.
We need to get this list going.
All of Black Hollywood. will be on that damn list.
Do you think they would lose sleep at
Well,
night worrying that they would be on our list? Because I know
no,
people do worry about being on anti-defamation list.
well, you know what it is. It's like, well, first of all, you gotta have power,
Yeah.
that's why I give props to that community for having the power, like a disproportionate amount of power for the representation of the population. But I also think, I think about that term death and information and how that term is abused.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the mind of the ADL, it seems to me that anything that you say that's not stellar about our community,
Uh huh.
even if we own some bullshit,
Yeah.
even if you call us on our bullshit, we're gonna say you're defaming us, right?
Ooh.
Like so, if you say
But
anything,
it's kept their image pretty pristine.
it really has, and
Mm-hmm.
and and I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's a power move. I respect power, but I think at the same time, I think we got to know what black power looks like.
Yeah, but what it is the power of the mind. They understand how important those images are, those pictures. They understand how important that is in
Hmm.
shaping your mind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that was I read a book called How the Jews Invented Hollywood, and
Yeah.
it was a very fascinating book. It wasn't anti-Semitic or anything like that. It was just literally telling the story of how they made a great power move to build Hollywood because they couldn't get jobs and opportunities, so they
Mm-hmm.
created their own and built this massive power base. And one of the reasons that they overinvested in Hollywood
Yeah.
was because they said, "Wait a minute, if we can make movies about ourselves and about other people, we can shape our image." And they learned that, I think they learned a big lesson about that back in Germany, where
Yeah.
their image was distorted and
Yes, it
unfairly,
was.
and it led to horrible consequences. So I think for black people, the reason that you've endured your Holocaust of mass incarceration and things like that is because you've allowed people to distort your image.
They've
That
done such a great job. It is so daunting when you think about how there's so many black people that sign on to their agenda, you
mm,
know,
well, it's
to
because
their agenda
it's the
about
money.
us. It's just,
It's the money. That's what it is. Like they just really like we just we're raised to believe all money is good money, and that being accepted by white people is a good thing, even if they got you in there doing some bullshit that's going to
mm-hmm.
embarrass your family, make you look ridiculous, hurt your community. You still get hailed as a hero because you
Yeah.
made a bunch of money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the order of the day.
Yeah, but I don't think we're talking about Zendaya and John David Washington though. I don't
Are
think.
we not? Are we
I
not
think
really talking about them?
no, I don't. I wouldn't say that. Mm-mm. I will say though that I think the film
They're
deserves to be.
part of it.
Well, I think that films like this should be analyzed carefully to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what's here that makes sense, and what's here that's a little bit off kilter.
Well, I mean, we got two very talented actors who will probably be recognized by this performance.
Mm. Oh yeah.
They will
Well,
be
Black Dysfunction
recognized.
will get you an award.
Yeah, because they played it to the T. Like they just did it. But there was a moment in there where I was just like looking at him like that's Denzel Washington's son. So I was looking for a little bit of
I
Denzel.
didn't see it.
I didn't see it. He held his own.
I think his daddy probably taught him how to not be like me. Like
That's
I
a
like I can see
those are big shoes to fill.
Denzel's a wise guy. Like I feel like he's
Yeah.
he's the type of person that would raise his son to be like, Sean. He's like, Sean, you don't want to be like me. You don't want to do what I do. You don't want to do what
Well,
I do the way I do it.
well, here wait, the thing is that he plays Malcolm and his father played Malcolm X. So in my mind, I was like, oh,
Interesting.
Malcolm, like Malcolm X. Like, why did they pick the name Malcolm?
That's a good point. Yeah, yeah.
So in a way, it just put me in a. That's why the mind is so powerful.
Well,
Hello.
I'll tell you what. I think John David Washington. I mean, he's already got a great career. He was in the Black Klansman years ago.
I didn't know that was him. I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
didn't
he's
recognize it.
really been able to do some really good projects. There's some other really good movies he was into besides those two.
He's a football. He was a professional football player.
Yeah, yeah,
That's amazing. Like he's accomplished. He's
yeah,
an amazing man.
yeah. Well, I think what I'm really picking up on, honestly, is I think his father probably taught him work ethic. That's it. That's the thing. Like a lot of these wimpy ass kids never learn how to work hard, and they get their ass kicked their whole life. They never achieve anything because people that achieve at a high level have a work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
They just know how to push themselves, and Denzel pushes himself. I thought about that when I saw him in when he did Fences on
Mm-hmm.
Broadway. And I went to go see it, and the tickets were super expensive. But I was like, I want to go support this brother's stuff because I like Denzel. I think he's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to this thing, and the performance, I mean, off the chain, amazing. You can see the sweat dripping off his face,
Oh
like
wow.
where he's like really into the role. And then afterward, there are all these people waiting outside of the theater
Uh-huh.
just to catch a glimpse of Denzel getting in his limo.
Of
And of course,
course.
I wasn't gonna stand outside and wait for
You want
nobody.
to go,
But I happened, but
Denzel?
when I did come out, I happened to see him coming out and getting in his car, and everybody's going crazy and stuff. And I thought about it, and I said, you're Denzel Washington, right? You've made hundreds of millions of dollars in Hollywood. You could easily be out in LA doing some blockbuster film where where you're
Mm-hmm.
making 10, $15 million and you've got a trailer on the set and and it's a lot more comfortable. But you chose to come to Broadway.
Yeah.
You chose probably for less money and definitely a smaller audience to get to the core, to the root, to the purest form of
Yeah.
your art that you could possibly find. That tells me that you're dedicated to what you do. And he was doing performances every single night.
Yeah. To
Like,
be able to get into that character and deliver a nice solid performance day after day, that means he's looking for a challenge. He's looking to stretch himself,
yeah,
to get back to because a lot of them started in theater. And, at the end of their careers, once they've established themselves, I've noticed that pattern. Like, I want to get back to the theater. I want to get back to the people. And that's how you get inspired for your roles. You put yourself in these unique situations. That's what actors do.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so I respect it. Like, I think I don't know much about Zendaya. I'm still learning, but it looks like she's had a great career too.
She just reminds me of a young Halle Berry.
Well, she was a
She's
Disney
only
kid.
24 years old.
Is she?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's young.
24.
Wow, good for her.
So she's doing it. She's making the right moves.
Well, good luck to both of them. Overall, would you recommend that people see Malcolm and Marie?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I recommend it. I thought it was good to watch. I think watching it with a little grain of salt would be good. Just and at least if you're gonna learn anything from it, I'm a big believer in using your experiences for self improvement, and I believe that watching this can really emphasize the fact that when you're young and you're trying to figure it out, don't try to figure it out on your own. Like, get some help. Get some, get some. If you can't afford therapy, like, at least read a book together or
Mm-hmm.
watch some
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos together on how to manage your relationship. And if you're in a relationship with somebody who doesn't want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
that tells you right there that they may not be a good teammate for you.
Yeah. But more so than just reading and watching videos, you really have to do the work. Like, you have to just
Mm-hmm.
tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do, and don't do it all at once. Like, if you get a really good tip or something, or some sort of strategy, just do one at a time.
Mm.
I'm going to do this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can retrain yourself to
Yeah,
be better.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm in complete agreement with
It's
that.
overwhelming, all the information. Because sometimes, like, I look up something on YouTube, how to do something, I get overwhelmed by it. There's
Mm.
just too much. There's too much information right now.
But YouTube is great though. There's
It is wonderful, but
like
it's like too good of a too
well,
good.
when since I started playing Call of Duty on my gaming channel. By the way, my Twitch handle is Dr. Boyce Watkins. So if you're into gaming, like, go to Twitch and you can follow me there. But as I was learning how to play Call of Duty and I
Yeah,
couldn't figure it out, I just kept going to YouTube and I
and
would
it
Google
shows
search
you.
what I was trying to figure out, and somebody always did a video on it. I think
Oh,
that's great.
that
The
is
Yeah, or if I'm trying to fix something around the house, or if I'm trying to solve a problem or anything, like there are videos out there, and I think that that's a resource people should really tap into.
information age. The answers are right in your phone.
Yeah, and if you're in a
Hmm.
relationship, like, that relationship's valuable to you, and you should invest in that. Invest in protecting that. By
If
doing the
it's
work.
something that you want to protect, for sure, you want to make that commitment.
Hmm.
Commitment is doing what's best for the other person. So you want to do what's best for your partner. You definitely want to learn how to love them. What
I,
am I supposed to do to demonstrate my love? And then
mhm.
you figure it out and you do it. Try it. You are your own scientist.
I think
You test it out and see if this works.
that is funny though when we talk about the word commitment, and I never heard it described as doing what's best for the other
Yeah,
person.
yeah, that's what
I
commitment
see
means.
commit, and I agree. I think commitment. I would define commitment that way if you say I'm committed to doing what's best for you,
Yeah.
right? But I see commitment in a broader sense where it's just basically doing whatever the hell you say you're gonna do. Like, if I'm committed to running a marathon, I finish the marathon.
Okay.
If I'm committed to getting my degree, I finished my degree. Right?
Okay.
Like that.
Well,
That's
I mean, in a way, that's good. So if you're committing yourself to another person, then you're following through on that. I'm
mm,
committing. I'm. We're getting married. I'm committing myself to you. So the relationship is what you're going to commit yourself to. You're going to follow through on your commitments. What you say you're going to do. I'm going to do this, and you follow through with that. Makes perfect sense.
yeah, I can see that. So
Hmm.
so maybe you're talking about almost like micro commitments, maybe.
What do you mean,
Like if
micro?
I commit to meeting you today at 5 o'clock to go to the grocery store, I'm gonna follow through on that
Yeah, and if
commitment.
you don't, I mean, it's not like people. It's over. You didn't meet me at the grocery store at 5. You're not committed to this relationship. It's not that. It's saying, hey, something came up, boom, and then it's up to the partner's decision because your partner is committed to you, okay, and they have to say, okay, I totally understand because I'm committed to you. If you can't make it at 5 o'clock, I'm going to understand because that's my commitment to you. So if two people in a relationship are doing what's best for the other person, then how can
Mm,
it go wrong?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I get that. I get that. Okay, all
think
right.
about it.
So all right. So everybody, there we go. So our conclusion is that Malcolm and Marie is worth watching.
Yes.
And when you identify the toxicity that does exist in the relationship, um, you know, walk away from it as a better person. Like meaning that if you have something that's important to you, preserve it and protect it by doing the work and making the investment to make it better. And so, by the way, Alicia actually happens to be a relationship therapist, so she's licensed to talk about this stuff. So if you are interested in the stuff that she does, you can go to that URL. It's coachingwithdralicia.com. So feel free to take a look. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you subscribe to the blacklovechannel.com. That's where we talk about love and relationships all the time. So that URL's on the screen. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe before you go. I'm out of here. Say goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
All right. You
Yes.
guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.